It is 3 a.m. Your cat is sitting perfectly still at the end of the hallway, staring at the wall, not moving, not blinking. You follow their gaze. There is nothing there. No insect, no shadow, nothing. Your cat does not look away. Pupils fully dilated, fur along the spine slightly raised. You have two options: go back to sleep, or ask what they are actually seeing. This video is the second option. 1. What people have believed for thousands of years. In ancient Egypt, cats were considered sacred. Temples kept them specifically because they were believed to perceive divine presence as invisible to humans. This was not superstition, it was theology. In medieval Europe, the belief inverted. Cats staring at nothing was taken as evidence of a connection to dark forces. This belief cost millions of cats their lives. In Islamic tradition, cats are said to be able to perceive jinn, beings invisible to humans. The cat is not feared for this, it is respected. In Japanese folklore, the Nikomata, a supernatural cat, was believed to see the dead. A cat staring at an empty corner was not looking at nothing. It was looking at someone who had not yet left. In virtually every culture across every era, humans arrived at the same conclusion independently. The cat sees something we cannot. The explanation changes. The observation does not. 2. What the living claim to have witnessed. Hospice workers report with notable consistency that cats go to a patient's room in the hours before death and stay there, not interacting, just watching. Oscar the cat at the Steerhouse nursing facility in Rhode Island became internationally known after correctly predicting over 50 deaths by sitting with patients in their final hours. Whether Oscar was detecting biological signals or something else entirely was never resolved. The behavior was documented. The explanation was not. Owners of cats who have died report their surviving cat staring at the spot where the deceased cat used to sleep, ears forward, alert, for weeks. These accounts share a structure. A cat focused on something specific and invisible. Sustained attention with no apparent trigger. Behavior that stops as suddenly as it started. 3. What skeptics say. Most animal behaviorists are dismissive of supernatural explanations, not because the accounts are fabricated, because the biological explanation is sufficient. Cats hallucinate normally, as a regular feature of a nervous system wired for predator detection. A system that's sensitive generates false positives. A system that generates false positives will stare at things that are not there. Pattern recognition in cats is tuned to detect movement at the extreme edge of perception. A dust particle, a shadow shifting by a millimeter. Real stimuli, not supernatural, simply below human threshold. Oscar the cat has a cleaner explanation. The smell of ketone bodies, chemicals produced during the metabolic changes that precede death, is detectable by cats long before humans. Oscar was not predicting death, he was smelling it. This is the skeptic's position. Every observation attributed to supernatural perception has a biological mechanism that accounts for it without requiring anything beyond the physical world. 4. What the biology actually shows. A cat's eye contains the tapetum lucidum, a mirror-like layer behind the retina that reflects light back through the photoreceptors a second time. In near total darkness, your cat sees clearly. You see nothing. A cat's hearing extends to 64,000 hertz. Humans stop at 20,000. That gap contains an enormous amount of information your cat can access, and you cannot. Pipes settling, insects in walls, frequencies that do not exist in your perceptual world. A cat's whiskers detect air pressure changes too subtle for human skin to register. A moth 2 meters away is information their whiskers can process. A cat's nose contains 200 million olfactory receptors. Humans have 5 million. The chemical information in any room is 40 times richer for your cat than for you. Put these together: vision 6 times more sensitive in low light, hearing 3 times further into high frequencies. Whiskers reading air movement you cannot feel. A nose 40 times more powerful than yours. Your cat is not living in your world. They are living in a version of it, containing vastly more information than you can access. When they stare at something you cannot see, the simplest explanation is not the supernatural one. It is the sensory one. 5. The neurological dimension. Cats experience the startle stare cycle. A stimulus at the edge of detection triggers full alert, dilated pupils, raised fur, even when the stimulus is too faint to resolve. The fur raising is piloerection, the same reflex that gives humans goosebumps. Triggered by the sympathetic nervous system in response to perceived threat. The dilated pupils are maximizing light intake. A cat with fully dilated pupils in a lit room has been activated by something it considers worth investigating. The stillness is predatory patience. Cats in hunting mode become motionless. The locked stare you interpret as eerie is your cat's highest state of focused attention. They are not frozen, they are ready. 6. The question that remains. The biological explanation accounts for most of what we observe. Enhanced senses, detecting stimuli below human threshold. False positives from a hypersensitive nervous system. What it handles less cleanly is directional specificity. A cat tracking something moving across a wall with no visible stimulus. Returning to the same corner, night after night with the same quality of attention. Science cannot currently resolve this. The tools available to measure perception are built for human sensory ranges. We can describe what the cat's nervous system does. We cannot fully describe what information it is processing. 7. What to do when it happens. First, check the obvious. A spider, a reflection, a tiny insect near the baseboard. Your cat is not detecting nothing. There is something. Finding it may be as simple as looking more carefully. If you find nothing, watch the body language. Ears forward and whiskers extended means curiosity. Ears flat and tail low means fear. A frightened cat has assessed the stimulus as a threat. Worth noting even without identifying the source. If the behavior is new and accompanied by other changes, appetite loss, hiding, altered sleep, a vet visit is warranted. Neurological events in cats can look identical to what we have been describing. 8. The accounts that don't resolve cleanly. Cats who tracked something moving through a room in the hours after a family member's death. Cats who sat by a door for weeks after a person left and never returned, long past when any scent should have remained. These are anecdotes. They cannot establish causation, but they are observations made by people with no motive to fabricate them, specific enough to resist easy dismissal. The honest scientific position is not that the supernatural explanation is true. It is that the current biological model may not account for everything the cat's nervous system detects. Those are different statements. The first makes a claim, the second acknowledges a limit. 9. What every culture understood. Across every era, the cat has occupied the same symbolic position. The animal standing at the boundary between what is visible and what is not. Whether that boundary is theological, neurological, or perceptual depends on who is asking and what tools they are using to answer. The next time it happens, and it will happen, watch your cat instead of the wall. Watch the ears, the whiskers, the tail. Whether the attention is curious or afraid. Whether it lasts seconds or minutes. Your cat is reading a room you do not have full access to. They always have been. The question of what they are reading, a beetle behind the baseboard, a frequency above human hearing, or something requiring a different kind of explanation entirely, that question has been asked for 5,000 years. Your cat, sitting perfectly still in the dark, staring at nothing, is not going to answer it tonight.